Welcome back to Classic Conversations, everyone. We've set up here between the stables to have a few more yarns today, and very special, we're here with Kylie Graham. Kylie, thanks so much for coming down here and joining me this afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Hannah.
We're escaping the heat. We found a little spot of shade. Bit of Queensland heat coming down for you, I reckon.
Yeah, no, Tamworth just always turns it on, don't they? It's either one extreme or the other, but anyway, we come back
We like
every
to keep
year.
it interesting.
Yes.
Kylie, you're no stranger to the Classic. We've just been chatting about the fact that you've been a really long-term sales supporter. When was your first sale? How long ago was that?
That was 2008 was my first year I sold.
Holy dooly.
Yeah.
So from the get-go pretty much?
Yeah, well, I think it was the second sale
Yeah.
that you guys had, and I came with 2 Mellow babies.
Amazing.
Yeah, back then. So no, I think I've sold nearly every year.
That's true commitment to coming down every Feb. And look, always been worthwhile. You bring amazing horses every year, all homebred or from origins from your mob. And speaking of the Mellow horses, that's really where it all began for you with Mellow herself. There's an amazing story behind that. Can you give us a bit of the origin tale about Mellow and where your mare line started?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem amazing to me, but when you think about it and reflect on it, it is pretty cool. So you could go right back to my father. He was not into performance horses. He was a jockey and he had thoroughbreds, and so we were brought up around racehorses. But I always had a desire to ride really good. I'd seen cutting, I had never been involved with it, but I'd seen that, and I always wanted to have really good cow horses. And not that I wasn't supported in that, but I wasn't from a family that camp drafted or did any of that stuff. So that journey was sort of my own. And when Dad gave my other 2 sisters, Gail and Sherry, 3 full sisters, and as foals, and I was 12, I think, when Mellow, the old original Mellow, was born, and she was just out of a station mare at the Valley of Lagoons. But when I say station mare, I must admit Dad had been importing quarter horse and cutting stallions, him and his brother.
Amazing.
In the 70s, and so there was some good breeding in there, but they were unregistered mares. Anyway, Mellow was born, and I remember she was she was albino, so because she was a result of a palomino and a buckskin, and she was cremello actually. And we went out to see her as a little foal. There's this little white thing in the grass, and Dad said to me, "Don't get attached to this. This thing's going to die. It's going to get cancer, or it's not going to live up here.
Not going to survive the
no,
in the north.
The northern extreme, conditions where we lived up there." And she died at 27, in foal at 27, and she was with me my whole life. And so I didn't know anything back then, and I helped Dad break her in when I was 14, and then I rode her. I was the only one to ride her then, and she was just so good. She was so cowy, and she taught me so many things, and I ended up getting her foundation registered with the Quarter Horse Association, and then I just decided that, I wanted to try and breed foals out of her that were by the best steins that I could think of.
Yep.
And I lived up in Valley of Lagoon Station, which was up near north of Greenvale, and I'm talking like in the 80s, and there was no such thing back then as shipping semen, and it was a 3-hour drive just to get to the nearest town. And so I decided, and I'd been on a trip judging cattle at the Brisbane exhibition, I think the year before, when I was in my early 20s. And while I was down in Brisbane, I went on down I wanted to meet Doc Freckles Oak, because I'd seen, how amazing he was on a video or something. It wasn't like it is these days on Facebook or anything. Someone had showed me something. And I just thought he was amazing the way he could move. And I went and I met Richard Bull, and so I decided I'd breed Old Mellow, my original mare, to Freckles Oak. But that trip was, was the truck trip down to Ingham, and then there was, I think it was 2,500 k's she travelled to come down here to Tamarang. And then Bully couldn't get her in foal because it was hot from where she'd come from, and it was cold. And I do owe it to Richard, and Di Sawley was the vet at the time, and they kept persevering, and they eventually got her in foal in like March when all the other mares had gone. And so that was Mellow Oak, the mother of, and the next generation, and the mother of a lot of my good ones. And, but I did continue to breed Old Mellow to, all the best horses that I could think of. She went to Bon Jovi and Acres Destiny, and just all of the, I always made an effort to try and, just because it seemed hard to do it, that doesn't mean don't do it. And I did, I did cop a fair bit of criticism when I was in my early 20s, and no one was sending mares to Tamworth to breed, a riding horse. Everyone thought I was a little crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's
been worth it.
It was a vision that I had. Like I just, and that's, you've got to stick with your goals and your dreams.
It's amazing, Kylie, like the level of determination to do what you set out to do and where it's got you now. Like it's been an amazing journey, and I think you're really humble about it a lot of the time. And
well, I mean, it just proves that anybody could do it. I was just a little country girl from up there that knew nothing. I mean, I still don't know much, but you know what I mean? Like I had that desire that I wanted to just breed these horses and make it my thing, and given what, expand on what I'd been given. And I'm very grateful, and it is rewarding because it was my thing. And as in, I've always had the cattle, and it was my family were behind the cattle, and there was with the drought masters and things, but the horse thing was sort of
your baby.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Kylie, how, like, it must be really rewarding, I guess, to feel, to come here and see not only some that you've bred and sold, but people are bringing them back. They're still performing. Ben was out on Marmello yesterday.
Yes.
Had a really great run in the Open. So, what does that feel like?
Yeah, look, that's what you do it for, and that was sort of my goal. First of all, I just wanted to breed good horses for myself, and then when I'm going along through my process and my journey with that, thought, well, I would like people to have my horses, my breed, and I've sort of sought to create a mare line, I suppose, by choosing the right stallions. I think you can do that. You can improve and change things as you go through your choices, and to see people riding horses with KJA branded on them, that's lovely, and to get the feedback from people that they love them.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah. And like I was saying before, because it's a mare line, like you're not churning out dozens and dozens of them, so it's a bit of a niche market, and so there's not endless amounts of them, but it's nice when
there's a fair bit of patience involved.
Definitely.
Like take the time to really build what you want for the time it takes, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, anyone who's in the horse game knows if you're going to be in it, you've got to be prepared to be patient because it takes a lifetime, some of the time, and you can't rush the process.
No, but when you get the quality that you want, the senses of achievements, it's worth it.
Definitely.
And it's a real family affair for you guys, I guess, coming to the Classic every year. You've got 3 horses. Your partner Matt has 1. Ali and Tom are here.
Yeah.
You've got 2 beautiful kids. They're very keen.
Yes. Ali's just finished school, so she's here helping me this year.
Oh, labour.
Yeah, well, to make sure she comes home from the long yard on time. But and Tommy's in year 12, so he's coming next week. He's going to take a few days off school. So yes, it's definitely a family affair, and they are very, conscious of not over, cooking the kids.
Yeah.
Because I do want them to be interested long term if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
As in, they are really dedicated and love the horses too, and they're really good little hands themselves.
Oh, look, it's credit to you, Kylie. You've achieved a lot already and continue to do so every year, and we look forward to seeing your sale horses go through. We've got a lot 58, 187 and 298.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
3 really lovely horses. Looking forward to seeing them pre-work. Wishing you all the best for how they go this week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for coming down here, and we'll catch up with you later.
Yep. No worries, Anna.